reprints is a word that we hear quite a lot in the community, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Cannot deny that reprints have a massive impact on the trading card game overall. You have some people that think it's absolutely fantastic that reprints happen, and there are some which think reprints or too much of a reprint is really bad for the hobby. And both sides are kind of right. But do I think reprints are really good? Well, we'll get to that. First, I'm going to be talking about what's happening right now in the market and whether or not reprints are needed right now in 2023. So reprints are a really interesting thing. We have sets such as Evolving Skies, where it's reaching nearly $300 a booster box. It is currently still in its standard print run, which usually as a rule tends to be between 18 and 24 months. But it's not always 100% true. Some sets get printed or reprinted, as it were, further out of that 24-month period, and some of them stop early. It's not necessarily always guaranteed, but that's usually a rough estimate to give us an idea of how long a set gets printed. And it still has some months left. Evolving Skies was released in August 2021, so a little over a year and a half ago, and it's still available to be reprinted. And it's one of these sets, in my opinion, which I feel like it kind of needs a reprint, whether or not that be a booster box or other ways to get Evolving Skies packs out there to the public, because at the end of the day it is a player's game and people want to get hold of the cards to play the game. Whether or not you bought a booster box yourself at $200, $250, $120, a reprint will have an impact on the overall value of that set. Now, if they did reprint Evolving Skies, say, right now in 2023, will it have a massive impact on the price? Yeah, it would. I feel like it would drop down a significant amount depending on the size of the reprint. If it's absolutely huge, then we could see the price drop overall for the booster boxes. Now, overall, do I feel like it would hurt the game or hurt the product? No, I really don't think so. I think Evolving Skies has proven it's such a strong set that not only will it bounce back, but I feel like it would bounce back twice as hard down the line and still prove that it is very strong even through reprints. And we've seen it before with XY Evolutions. XY Evolutions was a massive set, very popular, and it got reprinted a ton. There was so much of it around at the time that you wouldn't even think that it would be over $800. Now around about $700, did reach $1,000 at one point. You wouldn't have thought so, but it got printed so much, yet it held strong because it was such a strong set for the long term. So I do believe that if they reprint Evolving Skies, it will bounce back. I feel there's a ton of sets in Sword and Shield era that could do with a reprint, such as Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars, Brilliant Rain, and Fusion Strike. In my opinion, those sets really could do with a reprint. Obviously Evolving Skies as well. As you can see from all the charts, they have been going up over time, and reprints are needed, whether or not they're big or small. They could do with some sort of reprint to help people be able to just get packs at a reasonable price. Now you have the other camp, which is reprints are not great, or too much reprints isn't great, and that is also true. We've seen it with sets like Shining Fates. Shining Fates is a great set, but it's just been reprinted and printed so much between the Elite Trainer boxes and also the supplemental products between the mini tins, collection boxes and the like. So it is a set which really has been kept down in value, and the cards don't really hold a huge amount of value because they've been dropping in price because they've been printed so much and there's so much of them out there that it does affect the overall value of the set. We've seen it with things like Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze. Those ETBs were really high at one point. Darkness Ablaze over $100. Then we saw it drop to as low as $30 or less than $30. And we saw the same with Vivid Voltage around $80, dropping below 30 and around 30. It's not really great when you do a mass reprint. And it's quite interesting because the booster boxes of those sets are no longer in print. The Elite Trainer boxes came out in a massive wave, massive reprint, and it absolutely plummeted the value of the Elite Trainer boxes. Now don't get me wrong, I don't feel like they should absolutely, print an absolute ton of everything, but it's not always a bad thing if they do print a decent amount, especially if it's a set that holds strong. Another example of that is Hidden Fates. Hidden Fates got printed a fair amount. It had quite a lot of print waves, but it did really well, and it's still holding incredibly strong. Now I thought Shining Fates would go the same way, but they really did print way too much, and Shining Fates overall isn't as strong as Hidden Fates. It just doesn't have the cards in the set to make it strong enough to hold all the reprints and keep its value. And that's one thing the Shining Fates struggles with compared to Hidden Fates. So it all depends on the strength of the set. Trainer Gallery sets, I believe, in the long run will hold very well. Anything with alternate arts will hold very well as well. Things like Chilling Rain, Fusion Strike. Those sets, even though they're not the greatest sets to open, they have such big cards that will keep those sets strong for that long term. You take sets like Darkness Ablaze, they don't really have strong cards that can hold that value and keep it going for the long run, whereas the Trainer Gallery sets do, and of course Evolving Skies does as well. Right now, Pokemon has a really good opportunity to reprint some of these cards before the MSRP goes up. Now, MSRP will rise with the release of Scarlet and Violet. We kind of have a 3-month window right at the beginning of this year for them to get print runs out there of all the sets and the products that need reprinting. One thing that was really interesting was the message from Pokemon themselves. Staying on the update of the Pokemon trading card game product availability, we're aware that some fans are experiencing difficulties purchasing certain Pokemon trading card products due to heavy demand and global shipping constraints impacting availability. We understand this inconvenience and could be disappointing for fans, and we are working to address where it is within our control. In situations where there is limited availability, we are actively working to print more of the impacted Pokemon TCG products as quickly as possible and at maximum capacity to support this increased demand. Reprinted products are expected to be available at retailers as soon as possible. For new Pokemon TCG expansions launching in the future, we are maximizing productions to increase the product availability upon release, and will continue to reprint the products to replenish stock at retailers as soon as possible. We would like to thank the community for their continued support and patience as we work to deliver new Pokemon TCG products for fans. So Pokemon knows that there is a problem with availability, and they are actively working to get reprints out. Will that be Evolving Skies? Will that be Brilliant Stars? Could it be other forms of supplemental products that have these packs in there? We just don't know. But now is a perfect time for reprints to start hitting the shelves between now and the release of Scarlet and Violet. With the increase of MSRP, it makes it a little bit tougher for them to get the reprints out, especially if booster boxes downline for older products that aren't necessarily affected by the MSRP. Who knows, they might release these booster boxes at the increased price of the MSRP, at least some sort of supply to keep up with the demand that is going on right now. So is it going to be bad? Is it going to be good? We have to wait and see whether or not Pokemon are going to absolutely reprint a ton of these sets, or just a small amount, or in different ways completely. But I am one for reprints. I have to admit, I love cracking packs. I do feel like if this set is strong enough to hold multiple reprints, then I think it will do well in the long term regardless. As we've seen in these sets, the availabilities have massive impact on the single card prices. But guys, let me know down in the comments whether or not you feel like reprints are a great idea. Do you think that Pokemon's going to do some reprints before Scarlet and Violet? I think they will. We have to wait and see. Found this video useful? Make sure to click on this video here where I go through the most expensive cards that were released last year in 2022. And if you want to watch more Pokemon content, make sure to hit that subscribe button down there. And guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, you guys are legends, and I'll see you all in the next one.